Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I hope once again that everyone is doing well. We are already sadly at the end of October, which is crazy. Time moves way too fast and I am kind of sad about it, but it's not Halloween yet, so that's still exciting. And this is the final week that I'm doing for Inktober, the final piece. And this one, probably honestly, I think took me the longest actually. This is one that I really struggled with for a while. This is one of those paintings that, nothing I was doing was turning out right. So love that for us. Yay. Love when it happens. I was like getting kind of frustrated. I had to like take a step back because I was getting very upset and angry and I wanted to kind of give up. But you know what? I pushed through. And I finished it. You're watching this video, so it's good. We got it done. This was actually every single Inktober I've done in the past. I usually do a screenshot from the movie The Village, which was what this is based off of. And this year, though, I originally was going to do the same thing. It's usually the same pose. She's usually like cowering kind of behind a tree, and the figure is like behind her, the monster, whatever, the cloaked figure, I guess. But this year I decided that I kind of wanted to do something different because I've been doing it for literally, it's been like multiple years that I did the same thing, and I wanted to be creative and try to do my own thing this year and get out of my comfort zone. So I ended up adding a lot more of a background actually. As you can see, I was kind of playing around with like shadow and woods and trying to make the illusion of more, I guess, like trees going in the back more. And it was I had to play with it for a while, but I'm happy with how it turned out, and I like how it doesn't look too dispersed. Usually that happens on accident with me, but luckily I was able to figure it out, and I'm actually really happy with how the background turned out. I really want to get better at backgrounds, and I kind of want to just start out simple though at first, and then I would like to get more and more complicated. But it's hard to figure out like spacing and like the way things, and also just you have to like figure out like where like the horizon line is and everything. I don't know, it's confusing to me. So I'm still really trying to figure that out. But yeah, and the sketch for this one took me multiple times. I like had to keep on erasing it, and I was getting worried because I was like, I'm gonna ruin the paper. So I eventually decided to do this one, and this is one of those ones too where while I was doing it, it was not turning out how I wanted it to. For the longest time it was looking very flat, but I think I'm happy with it now. Actually, I think I actually really like how it turned out. It was definitely, though, it was a process, which usually paintings are. It takes a lot of the times with paintings, at least for me, it looks ugly before it starts to actually look like something, which is very hard because that messes with your psyche a little bit because you're like, this isn't turning out, so I should just give up. That's what goes through my head. I'm like, oh, I should just give up. But you gotta keep pushing through. And sometimes it doesn't turn out still, but I think it's important to, I try to, before I lose my mind. But sometimes, you know what, sometimes I think it's okay sometimes though, just kind of throw in the towel, Sometimes I think it's fine to give up. Maybe that's not good actually, I don't know. But, if it's really bothering you and nothing you're doing is turning out right, I think it's okay to like kind of take a step back and, try again. But luckily I kept pushing through on this one. And I feel like I say this every single one of these, but this one especially, I really had a hard time with getting the composition right, but also just getting the contrast right, because the way the colors that she's wearing there's not a lot of contrast between them. They're all a lot of like the same tones. And so I really, really I added more contrast, I would say, than the original outfit that she wears. Because the original outfit, obviously this is in black and white, but her original outfit is like a bright yellow And her dress isn't that dark, so I made it a little bit darker. And I also added more shadows to try to differentiate between the different clothing that she's wearing so that it would stay out more. And yeah, you can like see here again, just I was trying to make things a little bit more layered than they normally be so that I could really get that contrast, because I didn't want everything to look super bland, I guess, because if I got all the same tones, I feel like it would not be nearly as interesting to look at. And I also tried to really make sure when I was doing the line art, that I really tried to make sure my brush strokes were very thick, and I used a lot of different line weights when I was making it so that you could really see more contrast that way as well, and it could differentiate between the different pieces of cloth that she was wearing. I had a lot of fun shading her face. I've had so much fun recently with like shading noses. I think that's really fun actually. And this one I'm really happy with how it turned out. I kind of wanted to play around more with lighting here too, which I think turned out fine. It's okay. Could have been better, but another thing that made this very difficult was with a lot of the other characters I've been drawing, they have very dark hair, and that is actually, I realized making this is hugely helpful whenever you're trying to add contrast, because the hair can contrast so well against the skin and the background. But she has like pretty much like, I think she has like, she's ginger. She has like ginger hair, which I guess was like similar to the last one I was doing. So it was also very difficult because I had to make sure that I didn't want her hair to be completely dark, because I wanted to try to convey that with the black and white, but it was hard. And I was kind of playing around too more with coloring the hair, and I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. I didn't want her hair to look too blocky, if that makes sense. Like I wanted to try to make it look like it was actually flowing hair, and I tried to do a lot of like individual strands of it. But also playing around with lighting, because half of her hair is covered by that cloak that she's wearing. So I tried to make sure that I made some darker pieces, and as it got further out towards the light source, you see less and less of the darker shades and more lighter shades. So that was really, really fun to try to play around with and figure out. It's so funny though, every time I accidentally will like, because I'm using India ink on this, and you really have like, it's very, very dark. And every time I accidentally like put a too dark of like a splotch down on the paper, I like freak out and I'm like, no, hurry up. I get like so scared. I'm like, no, no, no. And I like rapidly try to fix it, and panic sets in. But you know, I figure it out. It's similar with like watercolor though. Like watercolor is very difficult. I feel like I'm just now starting to kind of grasp it. I'm still very much in the dark with it. Watercolor is extremely difficult. I never would have thought it, like, because again, you're literally mixing like pigment with water. So obviously it's not, it's very hard. I've struggled for a while to get the basis of it, which I'm still kind of struggling with. But sometimes, you know, I get very impatient. I work pretty fast, honestly. Like I'm a very, very impatient artist, and I like to just, I don't like taking like too long of breaks between coloring. And because watercolor is, it takes a little bit sometimes to dry. You have to wait before you go into other areas because it will bleed through, and the water will bleed into each other. And that's happened so many times to me, and I'll ruin pieces because of that, because I'm so impatient. I need to be more patient when it comes to that stuff, because I don't want to ruin my art. And yeah, and this was really, I love adding like any sort of like beauty marks or freckles or like tattoos and stuff to characters and designs and stuff, because it adds so much like life to a character and personality in a weird way too, which you wouldn't expect usually. But I'm really happy with how that turned out. I wanted to also give her very I didn't add like any pupils to the eyes or anything either, because she has very, very cloudy blue eyes in the movie, and they're very beautiful. So I wanted to make sure I leave it that way. And I think it actually adds more to the piece too. I'm actually happy with doing that. The pops of red. Gosh, this is so vibrant on the. This looks so vibrant. It's like blinding me. I'm really happy with the way the pops of red turned out on this one because I usually it just splattered blood on everything, but this one I didn't want to do that. And with this movie, which again is called The Village, I love this movie personally. This movie's kind of like, it's not controversial, but a lot of people don't like this movie. I love it. I don't know. I love this movie, so I genuinely love this movie. I'm not sure if that's a hot take. I think it is, but I guess I'm gonna just be different. Yeah, I love this movie. I would recommend it. Check it out. It is more of like a. It's not. I don't. This movie isn't really scary to me. Actually, that's not true. It kind of is scary. I don't know. I recommend it though. But anyway, red is a very significant color in the movie, so had to add it. Thank you everyone so much for watching this series, by the way, and for supporting me and joining me with this. And I really, really appreciate everyone and their support for it. And I plan on continuing to make new stuff and do new stuff on here. So thank you so much, everyone. And I'll see you guys again. Bye.